Hey, Omar again with Chicago Cycle Network. And today we have somebody that, man, I met him a couple years ago with Cortado. It was after the ride. We were riding from down Sheridan. And we made a right turn on Isabel heading west. And I was with Dave Lipinski and this guy here right in his beautiful shirt. I love the colors.
Thanks.
Maybe I can get it afterwards. and then Dave introduced me to him as Mark Winston. I'm like, Mark Winston? I have no idea what Mark Winston is. And Dave was like, you don't know Mark Winston? He's like been around for a long time. He's like a true OG to cycling. I'm like, again, I'm new to cycling, so I didn't know exactly who he was, but I've ridden with him after that. And my God, don't let this fool you, man. He has a kick. We have sprinted many times and he has beat me in sprints. He literally has pulled my rip cord before. I learned that phrase from Bryce Mead. And it's on the famous Cozy Sprint or the Judson Sprint coming down. And I thought, hey, I'm at the front and I've won. And all of a sudden I see this little guy come and he's hit it hard. And I'm like, wow, perfect. I must tell you, you have one of the best sprint forms I've seen in anybody I've sprinted against.
You can say little old guy. That's okay. I don't take offense.
Don't let it fool you. He's not that old, trust me. But I'm telling you, one of the best sprint forms I've ever seen on anybody, okay? So we're going to get to know him, learn about him, all things he's done for cycling, how long he's been around. Because, man, we have so much knowledge just sitting here and experience. And we'll get to know about all the different things. And again, really want to thank everybody who have been, supporting the channel, subscribing, watching the videos, giving me the views. We need it. And we don't just keep on spreading the love in Chicago because people like Mark help to make Chicago what it is, not just in current days, but in the old time and, bringing up cycling and being one of the person basically been around consistently over the years and has made cycling a beautiful thing to be in Chicago. So with no further ado, Mark, thank you for coming and
thanks for having me.
Let us know about you.
I've lived in Skokie most of my life. I found cycling, I thought, kind of late. I was maybe upper 20s, but I got into that, and which I'm sure we'll get into. I got 3 kids, 2 grandkids. I retired last year from pest control, and I travel whenever I can, do a lot of traveling over the winter. And but cycling is kind of a world that I'm immersed in, and I love it.
Yeah, I can't imagine. Before we get into all this stuff, and you say you love cycling, he's immersed in it. How many miles did you ride last year?
14,000 last year.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
So that's like your average you ride a year, or you?
I try and get over 10,000 a year. Last year I retired in July, so I really was kind of aimless. I didn't know what to do. So first 10 days I rode 100 miles a day, just to do something and not be bored.
1,000 miles.
1,000 miles in 10 days. Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. So I did 700 in 7 days before.
I think I heard.
Remember?
Yeah. So that's what made me do a few more. I was like, "What? You did that?"
You're so competitive.
I definitely am.
Nothing wrong with that. We need to have this strong, manly testosterone. It's our nature. So I understand. So maybe I'll try to do 1,100 this year. Yeah. So you mentioned that you retired in pest control. Like, what exactly was that entail like for your business?
Yeah, so I started a pest control company 34 years ago, and it kind of grew. I mean, it was small. I had 12 people, and I went out and did jobs every day, which I liked doing. Managing people was another thing I wasn't so great at, but it worked, and it worked out great for me. I was able to raise my family or my kids, and I didn't really know there'd be a payoff at the end. Things change with interest rates and the economy, and all of a sudden venture capital things. And so these service industries became valuable. I mean, I wouldn't say I was smart, just got lucky. And
with a lot of hard work, of course. I mean,
Yeah, I just didn't know there was a price tag at the end of this, like that would allow me to retire. I thought I'd just pay the bills and raise my kids and have a little something. And I'm pretty happy right now.
That's awesome. I want to be like you because I've been pushing the envelope for quite some time. I mean, I'm still young, but I've done a lot of sleepless nights, and maybe that's what you're doing, but I pay the price, and hopefully one day I can retire nicely and just like do what I want to do, just like you. So
Well, when you have a
grow up, I wanna be like you.
PhD, I think you've earned that right after X amount of years.
Yeah, but it takes a long time to really accumulate the money and to have some good savings. Because I mean, what I do, I do it because not because of the money. I do it because I really love what I do. I mean, if I get all my bills paid and go to work and do what I do, I'll do it for free because I really love what I do. A lot of patience, a lot of hard work, a lot of thinking, but man, it's been a journey traveling from Jamaica and going to Dallas to school, undergrad, and doing my PhD in Dallas, and moving to Miami to train in Miami for almost 9 years. 9 years in Dallas, and then I'm here in Illinois for 7 years already. So maybe I have 2 more years here. I don't know. I do 9 years stints everywhere I go. So let's see how it plays out. But yeah. So you mentioned your grandpa. How does it feel to be a grandpa? I want to be a grandpa.
It's great. I heard somebody explain it, say it's the only thing in life that's not underrated. But they live in Las Vegas, so I do ride in Vegas. I kick a bike out there, and I get to, I love the groups. There's different etiquette and all these different groups, and one Vegas group is like this and like this, just like here. Plaza rotates this way, Cortado, there's all these nuances that.
But you just have to learn them all. And once you learn them, you can fit in, and it's great. So. Before we get into all these nuances of biking in groups and the group culture and dynamics, but before we get to that, how many bikes do you have?
I have 8 bikes.
Wow.
And
do you have a favorite?
Well, favorite like fastest, in the season. Yeah, my Cannondale System 6 is fast enough for me.
Is it the bike fast, or is it because you're fast?
Oh, that bike is fast.
So I just learned this, that a bike can stay upright without having a person on it if it goes at a minimum of 8 miles an hour. Fun fact. I just learned that because I was doing a workout on Zwift, and that was one of the facts that came up. I was like, interesting.
It's funny. I was just telling I rode yesterday south down to Wolf Lake, and I caught some guys riding back. And as we're crossing 87th Street, I don't know if you know this, but there was a velodrome there.
I've heard of it.
Velodrome.
I've heard of that before.
Yeah, it's a really small wooden track. It's 175 meters, which is so tiny. But on that track, if you're not going 17 miles an hour, you would fall over. So, like you say, a bicycle can, yeah.
So we get to learn all these different things we never thought about before. Because I heard about it before, but I've never.
It's defunct. It's completely falling apart.
So no biking on that stuff. Okay, maybe skateboarding, but no biking.
Yeah, we're lucky to have. We have the Northbrook Velodrome. Then we have one in Kenosha. And I raced those for 20 plus years.
Okay, 20 plus years. So let's get to that. So how long have you been biking for now?
I guess 35 years about. I started as a triathlete, and I was average at best. Try and finish the middle of.
I think he's being modest.
No, not at all. In a triathlon, I could barely finish the middle of my age group, and it took me 10 years to figure it out. I'm like, I'm an average swimmer. I'm a terrible runner, but my bike times keep getting better. So after 10 years, I gave up swimming and running and just went with the biking thing, and it was a lot better.
Gotcha. So as I think I've said this before, I realized that you can be a really good biker and a sucky runner.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You can be a amazing runner or a sucky runner become an amazing cyclist. It don't translate the other way around.
Right.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I used to be a runner, and I think I brought my running endurance to cycling, because all I did before was just running. I was never a cyclist. I've been cycling for less than 5 years now. So before I was really a hardcore.
Is that it? Runner. Just 5 years for you?
Just 5 years.
Wow. You've done a lot in 5 years.
Because I brought the same attitude from running to biking. Because when I started running, I could hardly run a 10-minute mile. And I realized that if I want to get better, I had to put in the work, because the guys I was running against, they were in high school, they did cross country. And I literally thought cross country meant running across the country, not like running. Again, I'm from Jamaica, so I was FOB, fresh off the boat. So a lot of things I didn't understand, like what it meant. I mean, to this day, I still joke about this when I went camping with my in-laws, and my mother-in-law said, "Hey, they're gonna have frozen pizza." And I'm like, why would you want to eat frozen pizza? That makes no sense, right? But the pizza is frozen, then you heat it up. So I'm still learning these different things.
Uh-huh.
So then I just put the work in from running, and then I could run a sub 5-minute mile. So,
wow.
and you can see all those medals as I showed before behind you. Those are all my
Wow, those are running medals?
all running
That's
medals.
a lot.
From winning races, 5Ks, 10Ks. I was an age grouper.
Uh-huh.
So I always finish in my age group. There's a bunch of second, and you see the red and the blue. There's all.
You know a better way to say age grouper. Masters.
Well, I'm almost at the masters levels now. I'm getting there. I was too young when I was a runner. So.
Well, I thought anytime they, I'm just used to bike racing, and you have the open category where anybody, and it's always young people who do well. And then if you're racing your age group, they call it masters.
Oh.
That's what I think of.
Maybe
so it could be 25 to 30, 30 to 35.
So when I was racing, I was either in the 30. When I was racing, I was between 30 to 35, and then I was in 35 to 40. So in each of those age groups, I always place whenever I race.
Yeah, that would be called masters. Which sounds a lot. Yeah, I'm a master.
I'm a master now. So now I think on Zwift Power, you're a masters or you're a veteran. I think I'm a veteran now on Zwift. When I race on Zwift, I'm a veteran. I'm like, okay, that sounds really old, but, but it is what it is.
I've never been on Zwift, and I don't do any indoor riding, which is bad. It's a great tool to have. I see your setup here.
Yeah, I need it because if I don't have it, I just don't want to go outside in the cold anymore. I used to go in the cold Cortada back in the days.
Yeah. 30
degrees weather, I'm outside. When it's get too cold, I jump on my gravel tires, whatever. But I was getting sick, and it wasn't worth it. I come home, I got freezing fingers and stuff. I had the heated socks, gloves, everything, vest, and everything. But it's just put on all the clothes to go back at 16 miles an hour. It's like,
you're from Jamaica.
That's right. And as I always say, I'm Jamaican. I'm made for the heat, not for sleet.
Yeah.
So I will stick to.
I've lived here my whole life.
Yeah. So I will. Yeah, the Zwift. I mean, it keeps me going, and
Yeah, Zwift is a great tool, and the thing that bums me out a little bit is I go out and ride through the winter most of the time, and I got a fat tire bike, studded tires. You can ride through anything. I'm out there and I'm riding, and I know everyone else is inside Zwifting, and they're getting a better workout than me. But I just need to be outside.
Which again, if it works for you, that's fantastic. I commend you for
it
that.
Doesn't kind of work for me because when I come out in the spring and see everyone, I get dropped. So
no, he didn't get dropped from this guy never get dropped. No, I don't think he ever get dropped. So you see, you've been biking for 35 years, and you're all this time you've been in Chicago proper.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
Oh yeah.
So if you've been here for so long, you must have seen cycling evolve over the years. So can you like different groups? You mentioned about group dynamics earlier. Can you touch on like some of the groups that you biked from back in the days and how you've seen cycling change in Chicago over time?
Yeah. So many groups, and some kind of come and go, just like the people come and go. But the core of us are still there, and a lot of the groups are still there. The Plaza Group, the Plaza Group, they've been around over 40 years.
Wow.
I mean, I cut my teeth with those guys. They showed me, because I was a triathlete. I'd show up with my Camelback. No one wears a Camelback. I'm like, yeah, I'm ready to go. And they're like, what's that? And
we're going 50 miles.
Yeah. And mountain biking. I used to do, mountain bike ride and then race mountain bikes for a while. But some of the groups, like there was a big core of a group called 2cc. I don't know.
Yeah, I've seen that.
The jersey.
Yes, I've seen that. There's a guy called, Jerry.
Yeah, Jerry Ortega.
He always wears 2Cs.
Yeah. Because he was the president of our bike group for many years.
Now it makes sense why I always say Jerry jersey.
Yeah.
And I think this is Jeff Linder might have the jersey. I don't remember, but I might have seen Jeff Linder.
Possibly. I'm going to ask him that next time I see him, because I'm newer to getting to know him. But yeah, that guy's been riding for a while. I just didn't know him. So maybe he was 2cc.
And you used to do Judson ride too back in the days?
Oh yeah, when Judson started. Wow. Yeah. It's just kind of a handful of people who lived like on Judson or right next to Judson who just kind of started riding their bikes. And then it grew, and it grew into a huge thing. I don't know if you know about the write-up they had in the newspaper.
No.
I don't know if that was 10 or 15 years ago, but anyways, that write-up, people read it and like, I'm going to the Judson ride. So we had all these people then, for better or for worse.
So maybe I heard Sam Harris talk about something about, because of that write-up, it's like everybody that come to Chicago is like, I want to go to Judson ride.
Yeah.
Because I mean, that ride, if anybody, if you're new to town and you want a fast group to ride on, not so much during the weekdays now, maybe in a Wednesday, maybe hit or miss, but I tell you, you go to the Saturday ride, the Lighthouse ride, because it's the same guys.
Yeah,
the Lighthouse.
Much. Yeah.
That's a good ride. And those guys, they're ripping.
Yeah.
I've done a couple of times. So I know, and if you don't have high fitness, you're probably gonna get dropped at some point. You're gonna spit out the back at some point in time.
Yeah, so, that's intense.
So you've been there from the beginning of Judson and seen it.
Yeah. Well, maybe I missed the first couple of years, but yeah, one of the first maybe 20 or 30 people. And I don't know if you saw when that ride was big, but we'd have 60, 70 guys on that ride.
Wow.
Yeah, so people would come to town, like you say, to do Judson, just like in Tucson, there's a ride called the Shootout. You ever heard of the Shootout?
No.
We used to go to Arizona a lot.
I mean, I live in Chicago. When I hear Shootout, it's a different...
Yeah, right. I think about that when I go south. No, but the Shootout is a great ride, big ride. So yeah, we have but now Judson kind of faded. And
I think the pandemic hit many things, and a lot of things are like still trying to build up a little bit again. So let's see if we can survive that. So before, when I was in Miami, like I didn't ride in Miami, but I think the equivalent of Judson in Miami is a ride called Don Pond.
Don Pond?
Yeah, I think that's like the Ripper group in Miami. They say if you can go on a Don Pond ride and finish, you're like next level. So Don Pond is like just the equivalent. But again, I never ridden with them because I didn't ride. I was a runner. I was never a cyclist there, but Don Pond is what I heard. So you must have known about like touring group and then Wolfpack and all those.
Oh yeah, I did the Wednesday night turn ride for a good 20 years. So a lot of people come and go from that, and that was fun. So Tuesday night and the Pizza Hut ride. Some people still call it the Pizza Hut ride, the Tuesday night ride.
But that's up north, right?
It's up north. The Pizza Hut has been gone for 25 years, but that's where we met a long time ago. Yeah,
I've been wanting to make that ride because people keep on saying that ride is way faster than Wednesday night ride and stuff, because a bunch of Bulgarian guys and stuff will go to that ride, and
Polish guys
and stuff. Yeah. And I want to go, but it's just too far north of me. That's the problem.
Yeah.
For me to get there is like a good 20 miles, 25 miles.
No, I mean, now they meet where we met them, and I think they still meet there at the Renaissance Hotel. It's kind of cool because it used to start at the Pizza Hut, and then the Pizza Hut's gone, but people still met there, and you go up the road, you catch another group. And then the Renaissance Hotel just south of Dundee on Skokie Boulevard, it's kind of where a lot of the people met. I think that's where it starts now. And then going north.
Yeah, and then they do St. Mary's and then loop and come back.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Let's see. Maybe I've been saying I want to do all these different rides, but it's just like there's so much on the plate, and
Yeah, with 5 kids.
With 5 kids, it's tricky, and I have to pick my battles very wisely.
Yeah.
And you probably know, with balancing your family life with cycling and stuff.
Well, I'm an empty nester now, so
you can just ride all day long.
I have been.
But how did you balance cycling with a family? Like, what was your biking schedule like back in the days?
So weekdays, my wife would leave for work at 7, so I had to be home by 7, and I got home at, I'm telling you, 6:59 more often than not. So that was tough. And then weekend rides, depending on what the kids had going on, I don't know. I made it work somehow. I probably burned some bridges a little bit with the family, a little bit.
It's gonna happen.
I put biking and racing a little bit too far ahead of where it should have been. But I mean, I realized, at my level, I'm a nobody, and it's not like I'm going to quit my job, I'm happy and I like it, but we're all, I don't want to say nobodies. Like Mason, I was a pro basketball player for 14 years.
The funny thing is that you're nobody, but So one thing I've actually noticed that, we think of ourselves as, and I think it's just maybe just us being modest a little bit, but there's so many people that are actually watching us, and we don't think of it this way, but you're inspiring many people. I mean, you inspired me. I mean, I'm being honest, I'm being legit. Like when I learned about like Mark Winston, I learned about Mason, I learned about, Drew, and I learned about Thea, and I learned about, Murray and all these guys. And I'm like, man, these guys have been there for such a long time, and they're still biking and staying healthy and doing what they're doing. And they find time to balance cycling life with real life. So it's a hobby. They push themselves, they overcome all these things. Like for me is like one of the biggest motivations. So you think, people are looking at it like, man, look at this guy, and they come on and see you like, they try to challenge you in a sprint. You be them like, man, I want to be that guy. So we inspire people, and people are watching, but we don't think about it. But trust me, in Chicago, when these people see us, we mean something to them.
Yeah.
And I never thought about it like that before. And then sometimes you realize it's not who you know, it's who know you.
Yeah. So, well, you talk about being inspired, and I don't know that I could be inspirational to anybody.
Well, I'm telling you, inspired me, because again, we sprint, and I'm like,
thank you.
Who's this guy?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
but I was really inspired by the Plaza guys, because they're in their 70s now. I mean, I rode with them Saturday.
Yeah.
And geez, if I could just be like that. And I mean, they're great guys, great riders. They're not full of themselves, because
like Eves, that's one by Eves, and all those guys. You're like
Eves and Drew and Murray and Jerry, and
you see those guys, and you're like, I want to be like those guys when I'm there.
I definitely, yeah.
Yes, we're with Mike, and he's 69.
Mike.
I don't remember his last name. He has a mustache. I call him Burt Reynolds.
Okay.
But he came with us, and of course, he kept up with us for the entire time. But once we got on the bunny trail, we started ripping it, and he says, "I know my limit," and he backed off a little bit and stuff. But he was there, and he's 69. He's like, I'm gonna turn 70 pretty soon. And he was out there doing this. I'm like, I'm 43. So I would love to be there when I'm that age, We
have a woman, Kathy Corbett, who rides with us. She's 74. She hangs out. People are getting blown out the back. She's there. She's a great rider.
Listen to me. Kathy, she's going to come on the show at some point. I have her on the list, and because she's super busy and everything. But man, when I see Kathy out there doing her thing, and I'm like, you're 73 and you're doing between Saturday and Sunday, you're putting a good 120, 140 miles. And she keeps up with the group.
And national championships.
Didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Right? And then you see people like Ruth and Beth and Lay, Tall Lay. And if Washington. And I'm like,
and she won a world championship in Australia.
I'm telling you. And then we show up to the ride, and these guys look like we inspired them. But they don't know. They inspire us. Like,
they all inspired me.
When I show up to the ride, I'm like, if you guys want me to pull help with the rotation, go to the front. But man, Kathy, you need to come on the show. Okay, remember, you gave me a word. I have the message on my phone. We're gonna make some time for it to happen. Okay, when it warms up. But man, she's
and I've been friends with Kathy when my kids were born. She brought food over.
Yeah, she's a bake. She bakes, right? So again, I've learned about these people all the time.
We had get-togethers at my house, and she'd bring food, like biking get-togethers. And then the parties went to her house, and this is 25 years ago anyway.
Again, which is the point I'm trying to make, guys, is that you have all these people in Chicago that rise, they're connected, they inspire, they keep the network going, and we're like one family. We have groups in the north, groups in the middle, groups in the south, right? So there's a lot of groups down south I didn't even know existed.
Oh yeah,
I'm still learning about all these
the western suburbs have
exactly,
their own groups.
And even like you have Major Taylor Way down south, which I want to go bike with them this year. But
I run into those guys sometimes when I go south.
Exactly, and I want to bike with those guys. It's gonna happen. Like this year I'm gonna really go out and really get to learn the people. Because, for example, a lot of people didn't know that you were at a pest company, all these different things, and here you are, and that. If you see this guy, now you're gonna say, "Oh, that's Mark Winston," because when you guys see him, now you're gonna know exactly what's it. You always wear like a favorite jersey. What the jersey you always wear all the time?
The Pact,
yes.
PACT, Polish American Cycling Team. When 2CZ split, it was kind of a weird, sudden split, and we were looking. Me and a couple other guys were looking. Well, what team are we gonna be on? And it's like the Pact guys were just really nice. They had some good riders, and they weren't full of them. They like to have beers after the ride.
Nothing
It's
wrong
like,
with
well,
that.
yeah, that's what I like, you know?
Yeah, I like to have a beer after the ride too.
Yeah.
And so that's perfect. So, and then you have groups up here like which I think is one of the funniest bike name up in this part of town is W Gas.
Oh, yeah.
And I hope one day I can get W Gas to come on, somebody to come on and talk to me, because if you guys don't know, it's WGAS, and it literally translates to who gives a shit, because they didn't know what to call it. Like, who gives a shit? It's like W Gas, and it is what it is now. So
yeah, we call them the bumblebees.
The bumblebees, yes, because that's exactly what I call them.
That's their colors, black.
In many conversations before, I always call the bumblebee crew.
Yeah,
like no joke.
Yeah. I saw them this morning.
Yeah. Like a clockwork with Cortada Group. We always be on tower.
Yeah.
When we make a left on tower
today,
they're always coming down on tower.
Yep.
See?
Yeah. I rode Cortada today.
We say the same. We see the same pattern. Every like a clockwork.
Mm-hmm.
We go up tower. We make the left because you can't go straight because you get a ticket if you go down straight.
I go straight. As long as there's no police watching.
Yeah, don't tell nobody.
When I go out real early in the morning, because those are like
the nice switchbacks.
That's a big ravine.
Right. But I think it's a safety reason, because you're blinded around the corners and stuff, so cars are coming.
Yeah, I mean, I'm doing it at like 5:30 in the morning, so every once in a while, try and do it a handful of times every year.
He didn't say that, guys. He didn't say that. But
there's no one around.
Those switchbacks are really cool to ride down.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Got some blind corners, but it's really cool. But yeah, that's where we always meet WGS, and I'm like, one day I want to go talk to those guys. I think we've met them at coffee sometimes. We used to go to Highland Park, and when it was too cold, there's a Starbucks coffee there. I think sometimes I see some of those guys, and there's On Your Left, OYL, and all these other OYL, right? On Your Left.
I had some health issues for a while when I started up again. I rode with the OYL guys.
Good guys.
They're great guys.
I've ridden with them because of Sean Scott when he was in town from John Sparker. There was an Evolution, and because of him, I met some of those guys, and they're pretty sweet group to ride.
Yeah.
So chill.
Yeah.
I mean, again, you mentioned before, they sometimes, they're not too cocky in themselves, but sometimes as cyclists, you want to flop our wings a little bit. But there's a lot of groups here that are very, very chill.
Yeah.
Just don't be, as I always say, don't be a twat waffle, right? Just be nice to the people around. And as I mentioned with Mason the last time, like whenever I go to a group for the first time, I always go to the back of the group.
Yeah, I heard you say that.
And then just watch the dynamic.
Yeah, you got to see how people rotate.
Because I made a mistake with Plaza for the first time when I said rotation, and I thought it was going to be, everyone's going to be rotating. It was like 8 or 10 guys at the front rotating, and I was one of those guys thinking that somebody's going to come, and they're like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Oops!" Right? And then, so now again, I go to the back and I just.
I think that's a good way to do it. That's the only way to do it. I think a lot of new people think, okay, I've got to do my share of the work. It's like, you really don't. I mean, because new people, a lot of times, they're like, okay, it's my turn. They get there and they really turn it up, and then they get blown out the back.
Yeah.
So
know your limits. Don't show up to a group because you don't know who is in the group and how strong the people are. Sometimes waiting might be hard. It might be just warming up a little bit, and then you're like, yeah, I burned all my matches. Yeah. So we mentioned this about group dynamics. So what are your number one things when you show up to a group or in a group? What's one of the number one things for you, like when you show up?
Like you said, hanging back and just kind of feel it out. And don't feel the need to if you're cocky and you want to prove yourself, that's a terrible thing. And just seeing how the whole thing works. Because pulling is not for everybody, and
true.
It's such an amazing sport because, I've been on huge rides with like 80 guys, and you could be going over 30 miles an hour and almost talking like we're talking now. You stick your nose out in front for 30 seconds.
Then you'll see it
might take 5 minutes to recover from that.
Exactly. So, I mean, I've been pulling sometimes, and some guy decide, okay, I want to go to the front and pull now. And then 30 seconds later, they're off the front. I'm like, yeah, it's a different beast up here, man. It's not what you think it is. It seems you're in the draft and you're chilling. Yeah. When you go to the front, you're like, no, this is not for me. So they go back. Yeah.
That just brought up a memory of, and I don't remember exactly, but on the Mafia Ride. Have you ever done the Mafia Ride?
No, I've never heard of the Mafia Ride.
Oh, Mafia Ride's been going for probably 50 years. And it's evolved, and now, I don't know if you know Mike Hegney. One of the better racers in the whole Midwest. He's won a lot of stuff. So he kind of organizes the Mafia Ride, which is only 3 times a year. It's going to be this Sunday. It's like Easter, Mother's Day, and Father's Day, or that's what it's been the past 5 years or so.
Huh.
It used to be a lot of Sundays when there weren't races, but really fast, like the fastest guys around, the teams, a lot of team tactics.
Let's talk some more because I've never heard of the Mafia Ride. It's this Sunday.
I'm not on Facebook or anything, but so that's how they, but I'll see an email
okay.
probably.
Okay, I'll look it up. Are you not on Strava either?
I just got on Strava just to try and, get used. Yeah, I just put myself on Strava a couple months ago.
Okay, I'll try to find it because I noticed before I never saw your stuff on Strava. I'm like, man, Mark Winston, but I never saw you.
Well, I tried it once and it's just like, I don't know, you get these followers and kudos and it's like, I'm not doing it for that.
Well, some people need to get their ego stroked a little bit, to get all the likes and comments on your.
Yeah, well, stuff. Then I get some of those and then I feel bad that I don't want to go through it and say,
just don't feel
kudos.
Yeah, don't feel bad. It's just there's way you can kudos people by. There's actually you can make a group like in a group so you can know I'm going to be like a Cartarder group or.
Oh, on Strava?
Yes.
Oh,
you can have a Plaza Group or a Cartarder group so you get to kudos people who you know.
Oh, okay.
And you can make it where you only accept people who you want to follow and vice versa who want to follow you, and you can just
I had to get on it because I do some group rides in Vegas, and I know a few of those people now, but that just kind of makes it easier.
Yeah, and it's a good way to you meet some people because sometimes I ride on Zwift, right, and then I get to travel somewhere. I'm like, oh, I met this person on Zwift. Are you in town? Can I go? And they're like, oh, let's go for a bike. And I'm like, that's pretty cool. And they know the road already, so they help me to show me around and. Mm-hmm. So it's a good way to connect with people. That's like you say when you go to Arizona and do ride in different places. So there's pros and cons and depends what you're looking for. Sometimes you just want to see, you want to be the fastest person on a segment, you get a comm or a PR or something like that. People value those sometimes.
I have some of those for very stupid reasons. In fact, I do a lot of snowboarding out west and I just started using Strava for that. And it's like, you won all these segments. Yeah, because no one uses Strava for snowboarding. I don't think there's anyone else.
No, I think I've seen some people from I've seen some snowboarders that sometimes go up to Wisconsin and stuff.
Oh, maybe.
I've seen people. Oh, Eric Dirt from Cartardo. He posts is sometimes snowboarding.
Okay.
Stuff.
Yeah, my stuff's all out there as of this winter. I put it on there.
Nice. So you mentioned that you're from triathlete to cycling. What are some of the big races / rides you have done in town that you recommend? Because I know that you did the Bone Ride, right?
The Bone Ride's the third Wednesday in May. This will be my 17th year doing the Bone Ride.
What exactly is the Bone Ride?
Bone Ride is from basically Milwaukee to Madison, and we have lunch, and then from Madison back to Milwaukee.
And what's the mileage in that one?
160.
Wow. Have you ever done a ride across Wisconsin before?
No, wow. I haven't done. I do that once a year, but not. Or my wife is from a little town in Wisconsin, and I ride my bike up there.
What's the name of the town?
New London, Wisconsin.
Yeah, never heard of it.
Yeah, it's small. It's outside of Appleton, if you know where Appleton is.
Yes, Appleton, I know.
Yeah.
I've actually done vacation in a place called Schenectady, somewhere up in Wisconsin. It's a little small town, and then it's so crazy because the landlord where I live, he has a cabin in the area. And he's like, what do you know about this place? I'm like, yeah, I was here. He's like, I want a cabin close by. I'm like, no way. Small world.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So I think Andrew Van Til has the comm for Raw. Like from one end to the E, he has the comm. One day ride, he has it. I'm like, are you kidding me? Still, nobody can touch it because it's nobody. People stop and have a good. I mean, if someone want to target it, yes, but he slapped the comm for right across Wisconsin.
The comm?
Yeah.
I don't know what the comm is.
King of the Mountain.
Oh, yeah,
so the fastest on a segment, Again, you still have to learn these
KOM.
These new QM, KOM, PRs. You saw, people chase these. I want to be the fastest on a certain segment.
Right.
So you're the king of the mountain. Well, again, when I started initially, I thought it was actually a mountain, but there's no mountain. This means the person with the fastest time in a mile or two in a very specific place. So you can actually make it on Strava.
Yeah. Like I say, I have a few of those, in Vegas where my kid lives. There's a ramp. And I'm like king of that ramp. Nobody takes that ramp. That's why I'm king of it. I'm sure there's never been another cyclist on that silly ramp.
Yeah, you hear about local legends too. So local legends, if you ride the same path, you have ridden the same path the most, then you have the local legend.
Yeah, I got some of those just because I ride.
When nobody's riding, you're there riding, so you get all these local.
Yeah, I've got the time, and yeah,
that's see. So,
and I take a lot of the same routes.
So again, these will. So some people use this as ways to motivate themselves to keep on riding because sometimes you ride and kind of get boring and like, oh, the same thing. But in this, you could make a little challenge for yourself, like a little segment, and it just makes things a lot more fun and engaging. And you push yourself because sometimes you're by yourself. People, you use bus or trucks or groups drafting and get these comms, but it's just all fun and game.
Yeah, right.
We don't make a living from this, but it keeps it fun.
Yeah,
and enjoyable.
Yeah, when I ride by myself, which is a fair amount lately, I go really slow. I mean, I'm under 15 miles an hour. Just kind of listening to some music.
But then when you show up to a group, you're like, what? Look at this guy. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I don't know. At some point a few years ago, they said, "Oh, well, actually, Zone 2 training."
I was about to say that.
Yeah, will make you faster, and it's like that's just what I like to do. But they have all this crazy training, which is making people faster. And as Mason pointed out, they get fast quick with this specialized training, and they don't know how to handle a bike.
Right.
And I've seen that go south a fair amount of times.
And as we always joke and say, of all the people who train on Zwift, remember when you're outside, remember to unclip when you stop the bike. because people is like, I'm on Zwift all winter and they make a stop. You outside, you got to unclip. If not, you're going to fall off the bike. In Zwift,
there's a million things. Like if you're sprint, I like I say, I've never ridden Zwift, but if you're sprinting and you're done sprinting, you could probably just stop. You can't do that. You can't just stop pedaling. You gotta,
exactly. You cause major problems.
Yeah.
So you're mainly again learn about Winston, right? He's never in Zwift, at least not yet.Maybe he will change his mind one day.
Yeah, sure. It's a great thing.
It's a fantastic tool to have.
Oh yeah.
So for sure, he's an outdoor guy. He's biking. We call it in Siberia weather, as we call it here. When it gets really cold, he's still outside.
Well, there's always someone who's doing, like my cutoff is 15 or 20 degrees because it just takes so long to get dressed and undressed.
Right.
And, but when you're trapped inside for 2 weeks and it hits 15 degrees, it's been under 0 and then it hits 15, you're like, yeah, I'm going.
Yeah. Like, no, for me, my cutoff is 50.
50? Yeah.
I mean, I can do 40, I can do 45, but now it's just like, just 50 is, one, because even when sometimes it's cold, my body just don't respond very well to the weather anymore.
Mm-hmm.
If it's like 95, 100, whatever, I have no problem with that. But like, just my body just feel achy and cold temperatures. I just can't warm up and get the actual potential in my muscle firing.
Uh-huh.
So like 50 is my cutoff. So if it's a 50 day and it's nice, I'll be out there.
Yeah.
Like today,
it was over 50 today and we were out there.
Yeah, but I said Mondays is typically my day off, where I just like just relax, enjoy my family, do some work and just chill. But
that's where you're smart and that's good. Like I never took that and I was just like, I'm going to ride today. I'm going to burn those bridges or, not that I wanted to.
Yeah, but I just do too hard on the weekends. Weekends is just, it's fast miles, it's hard miles, it's long miles. So to get myself rested at least for one day.
Well, Mondays and Fridays are always easy rides. You guys, I used to ride with you once in a while on Fridays, and you guys have sprints on Fridays. It's like, you can't do that on Friday.
Well, so mainly Friday, going north and coming almost always south at Cortado is chill. The only fast part will be from Lake Cook back into Glencoe. That's the only fast part of the ride. That's
like I only killed one person. I mean, it's just like, once you shoot that wad, I mean, if it's an easy day and you do one sprint, you just screwed up your easy day.
Well, that's true. But it's just, Cortado, they have their culture.
Yeah,
right. That's just their thing. You just realize everybody could be dying in Cortado, but it's like once you hit Lake Cook to Glencoe, it's like nobody's sense is on anymore, and everybody's we're going to push really, really hard all the way back to Winnetka, back to Winnetka, and that's back to Green Bay Cycle. So from Lake Cook, the Green Bay Cycle, that 4 or 5 miles of stretch.
Yeah,
be ready to.
That's why I don't do the Friday ride with you guys.
But going north, very, very chill. And then, so I recommend anybody, if you want a nice ride on a Friday, some pickups going north, as they would say, if you can't hear anybody talking, you're going too fast.
Yeah.
So 18, 19 miles an hour, chilling, everybody chatting in the conversation. But again,
and that's what we had today.
Yeah,
I mean, we only had 4 or 5 people, but it was conversational just about the whole way,
and
which is the way Mondays and Fridays should be.
And then Bill was saying a lot of sarcasm today, so I wonder what was about.
I don't remember.
He just said a lot of sarcasm, and maybe people were like, messing with each other. It's maybe one of those days. Yeah. So you've mentioned, man, like this is again, safety is important. Let people know what happened.
I like to say safety second. No, safety, of course, is the most important thing.
But yeah, talk about what happened to you guys so people can know that there's stupid people like this out there, guys. What happened to you guys on Saturday at the Plaza?
Oh, yeah, I didn't know the term for it, but we were attacked. Some guy, and I didn't even see it. I was in the back of the group, but some kind of pickup truck got pissed about something, and he was obviously ready to be pissed because he had a bunch of tacks, between 50 and 100 tacks that he threw on the road. We had 8 flats. Took almost an hour to change everything. We got the police, and nobody could really ID or get the license plates. But yeah, what a crappy thing to do, man.
Yeah, think about that, Chicago. Come on, guys. Think drivers. Think about this. You get pissed off because something happened, and the first thing that comes to your mind is take a handful of tacks and toss it on the road in front of cyclists.
Well, it's obviously premeditated. I mean, the guy came out with tacks in his car to do that, to find a bike group and do that. I mean, who has 100 tacks sitting in their car? It wasn't, and it happened last week too. I just found out too. I think it was Lighthouse.
Was the same car or a different car?
I don't know. It was in the same general area.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard of this happening before too. A long time ago, I think it was somewhere in St. Mary.
So it happened, about 5 years ago in St. Mary's, I remember.
And I'm like, who does that? Come on, guys.
Yeah.
We can do better than that, guy. We can do better than that. We can't be tossing tacks in front of cyclists.
Well, these are just like...
Don't be a twat waffle. Remember? That's one of the rules from Development. Don't be a twat waffle, guys. This is dangerous. But man,
yeah.
Well, I'm happy that nothing bad happened, and
Yeah, I had a tack in my tire, and I just left it in there till I got close to home. I love the new tubeless. Pulled it out, kept riding. Didn't even have to put any more air in the tire. I mean, I pulled the tack out. I felt the air coming out.
And
I'm like,
sealed, good to go. Yeah, I'm still running tubes in all my bikes. I haven't crossed over as yet. One day, I will cross over. But
yeah, because you can ride a little lower pressure.
But I like my high pressure though, because I'm a heavier guy. So the problem why I like high pressure, because whenever I sprint and I push it on the bike, it's like my wheel gets squished on the ground. And then a couple years ago, I crashed by doing a sprint and my turbo cotton, and I think my tire pressure was too low or something. And I peeled rubber off the cotton and I went down and I crashed.
And you think that because you didn't have enough pressure?
I think so. See, I ripped the rubber off the cotton.
Wow. Yeah, that's a lot of power there.
Yeah, well, it was quite a lot. And Dave Lipinski ran over me, and I fractured his collarbone. It was before his vacation. I felt so bad, but
I remember that now.
So I try to stay at least 85. Because if not, I can see it. I can see my tire like squishing when I put it.
Yeah. Did you ever have the back bounce around when you start sprinting?
No.
See, when I was racing the track, we used to go, those tires would hold like 160 pounds because you have sew-ups on there. I would go to maybe 140. And sometimes when you get out of the saddle and start sprinting, the back of the bike would skip. I think I gave up track racing a while ago, but I think
you also did track racing.
Huh?
You also did track racing.
Oh, I did track racing for 20 years.
So you did triathlon, crits?
Oh yeah, a lot of crits.
Road racing?
Races. Mountain bikes, 12-hour. I did some 12-hour races, mountain bike races. I was all in.
So what was your favorite experience doing any of these events? What was your favorite experience? I just like, man, that day everything was firing and I just had a great time. Like what?
Yeah. Probably Race the Lake, Race the Lake.
I wanted to race for a long time, and still everybody keep on saying Race the Lake, and I still have never done it.
Yeah. That's like a 92-mile road race, and everything was clicking, and there was a break, and I got in the break. That was probably one of the hardest things I've ever done in biking. we had maybe 8 or 9 guys, I think mostly pros, rotating around, holding over 30 miles an hour for like 40 miles. And
You were there.
Huh?
And you were there with them.
Yeah, and then we came into the finish, a couple miles from the finish, and we were down to 5 guys. And I just said, man, I'm going to finish 5th in this race. I can't believe. And then I was like, I think I could beat that guy. And I took 2nd.
Wow, congrats.
To Rashan Bahati, you know.
Everybody knows Rashan Bahati.
Yeah, he won.
I was through Rashan Bahati. I was going up to Northbrook to the crit racing, Intelligentsia. And I'm going up and I saw this dude in his giant bike, all green and everything. I'm like, oh, cool. I'm black. He's black. I'm like, hey, what's up? Where you going? It's like, I'm going to Northbrook. I'm like, okay, me too. We could ride together. And I'm like, hey, what's your name? I'm Omar, you're Sean. I'm like, and he said, I used to ride bikes. I'm a racer, blah, blah. I had no idea what this guy was.
Oh.
Because again,
he had his own team.
Still have his own team and still doing amazing stuff. But again, I didn't have, because I'm new to biking, I didn't know who he was. We rode up together. We were like, shit talking each other all the way and goofing, just being 2 human beings, 2 guys on the bike, talk about his days riding with Judson, doing different things. And I had no idea. We rode up to Northbrook, and when we rode up to Northbrook, and we went down, I forgot the name of that road, Sunset, I think. We went down and we went where all the people, and everybody started flocking this guy, talking to him like, who is this guy? I'm like, all right, see you. And I told a friend of mine, he's like, oh, that's Rashan Bahati. I'm like, who's that? And I looked him up, I'm like, oh my God, I just read up with this guy. I had no idea who he was.
Yeah.
And ever since then, whenever he comes to something and I see him, we always like say hi to each other.
Yeah, because he's always around.
He's always around. But he's a beast. Everybody talks about him.
Oh yeah, he's on Texas Roadhouse now, I think.
Okay. And I know he still rides. He's a big fan of Giant. That's his bike he rides, and this green bike. I'll never forget it. But man,
and he's a great pro racer, and it's so modest to ride with you and not mention that.
Nothing. I mean, we were just talking about, is that your house? Is this your house? Because when you go up to Northbrook and you go through went opposite the Wednesday night ride, because I knew the route. As he said, I'm gonna go. I'm like, no, just don't do that. Just follow me. Let's go up. We're talking. Is that your house? Let me up. And all the kids. It was great to talk. So your experience is Race Lake, and I wanted to race the lake, and I've been thinking about doing it for quite some time. But every time it's going to race the lake, family vacation or something going on, so I'm never in town. But hopefully this year, if I'm in good shape, I'll try to do Race the Lake. So that was one of the highlights.
It's like the first weekend in August.
You finished second at Race the Lake.
Yeah,
with a breakaway.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah,
that's
and a few
impressive.
people came up to me after the race, and guys I've known for years. They're like, "Yeah, congratulations, nice job." They're like, it's never going to get better than that. So you're. And you know what? They were 100% right.
Are you like it? I'm not doing no more race. I'm at the top of I've peaked. That's it. I'm done. No more. But Race the Lake. Wow. I need a 12-hour mountain bike.
Yeah, I did. Actually, a funny race I had, 12-hour mountain bike race. I did the Palos one. I was very competitive. And in Palos, if you cross the start-finish line in 11 hours and 59 minutes, the next lap is game on, to win the race. And I've been in that situation. So then I go up and do one at the Kettle in Wisconsin. And I'm kind of saving my energy for the end. In that last lap, I'm blowing by people like they're standing still. And I come into the finish, all the gates, and the gates are down. I'm like, I'm about to win this. Anyways, the race had been over for like an hour. They have a 12-hour cutoff. Those people were standing still because the race was over.
And they're like, I'm going to win. I'm going to win.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Kettle Marine love that place.
Yeah.
I've biked it on vacation once, but I did mainly maybe the blue or the green, because I'm not level skilled.
Yeah,
I'm not red or orange. I am not red or orange. So I think I did like green or blue, whatever.
Yeah, they have all different levels.
The novice level, because I am not trying to crash. And plus, my biking skill is not that great. But I have more bikes than this.
Really?
My in-laws' house, we have like mountain bike there. I have a gravel bike there because I live in a gravel bike. And me and my wife, we have our gravel bike there. So
where's that at?
It's in Sterling.
Oh, right.
Sterling, Illinois. So we just leave her other bikes there. There's bikes are in the corner around there too. My wife has her bike. She went to work today.
So how many bikes do you have total?
The answer is yes.
Yeah. Do you know the N+1?
Yeah, the N+1 rule. But so the rule is that anybody asks me how many bikes I have, I always say yes. I never give a number. It's always yes.
Uh-huh.
No, but I think I have about seven or eight bikes.
Uh-huh.
And I all build all these bikes myself.
Oh, right. I heard
All my
that.
bikes I build and I maintain everything myself, and I do all the work in all my bikes myself because I have all the tools. I've learned.
Uh-huh.
I have friends who own bike shops, and I've learned from them. And for sure, I've learned from Andrew Van Til because he knows everything about bike. Any biking problem you have, Andrew Van Til.
Uh-huh.
So that bike, as I was telling people, Andrew built that bike for me. I bought it from him for $350. I went to his house 9 o'clock at night. I didn't come home until 2 o'clock in the morning, and we built this bike.
Oh, wow.
And the hardest part was getting the cables, because the internal tube cable. That's the hardest part. Other than that, everything else. I can change my cassette. I can change my bottom bracket. I can do everything myself.
I can't do any of that.
Really? No.
Yeah.
It makes life so much easier, and you're not going to break the bike. Trust me. And a torque wrench is very important. I didn't know what that was before, but I learned a torque wrench is one of the most. If you have carbon bikes, most important thing is a torque wrench.
Yeah.
My Trek right there took me 4 hours to build. 4 hours done. I got all the parts, and I just built it. No time.
Yeah, the guys at the track, track bikes are really cool because there's no brakes, there's no gears, and so yeah, that's something that's a lot easier.
And this bike can become a track bike, by the way. You see the drop star in the back right here?
Right.
It becomes a track bike. This is a cool design by Planet X, where they have it where the drop this comes off and it becomes a track bike.
Yeah.
Done.
I ride my track bike once a week, every Friday.
Oh, wow.
Well, I put brakes on it. I'm not going to ride on the road without brakes, but I love my fixie. And
one day, I keep on telling my friends, I have a bunch of friends who go to track in Norberg. So I tell them maybe one day I'll show up.
And it's great spectator sport. Track racing has so many different types of races that are, you're sitting in the stands and obviously you can see everyone the whole time. And there's so many different strategies, like way more strategies than on the road.
I've seen it. And the holding hands and catapulting people in front.
Yeah, that's the Madison. I had a funny track race. There's something called a Belgian and something called a Danish. And I forget which is which, but you do like 5 laps. And then the 6th lap, whoever wins the 6th lap wins the race. So let's just say you and I are sprinting for the 6th lap. And you beat me by this much. You just won the race. Second place is whoever wins the 7th lap. I'm probably not even going to finish the race because You're lost gassed. To you. I'm gassed. So you got to be, it's a lot of strategy. So that's either the Belgian or the Danish. And then the other one is you do 5 laps. And then whoever wins the 6th lap takes 5th place. Whoever wins the 7th lap takes 4th place. It's the reverse. So I'm doing that.
See, I'm learning all these things. Okay, so Chicago. Let's stop. So this is why, again, we bike with people, we see them. Sometimes we don't bike with them, we pass them, but they have so much knowledge that we can learn from that we never even think about, because at the Danish, and I had never heard about these things before, right?
Yeah.
I never know you did mountain, track, triathlon, road, kick butt at a race lake, came second behind Rashad Bahadi. I mean, that's impressive. I mean, no, it makes sense why you have such. I mean, I'm telling you, your form for sprinting, I aspire to it. Like, I'm being legit. Okay, there's your sprint form, which I think is the most pristine I've ever seen. And I can tell there's a guy, his name is Paul Zidane from Evolution Cycling. He has the best bike form I've ever seen anybody else. And I tell him this before, like when I see this guy biking, the way he's on the bike is like him on the bike is one. And that's how I see you when it comes to sprinting. Man,
thank you.
Man, that sprint coming on the bus up, I'm like, whoop, 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 like, oh my God, it's Mark Winston. It's pretty impressive to see. So, learn so much about you today. So much. Is there anything you want to like leave us with? What you think, what inspires you? Like, what keeps you going?
Like I say, the Plaza Group definitely inspires me. And when we're riding, sometimes we'll see like an 80-year-old, that's inspiring to see, or even at the health club to see an older person working out. And this is great that you have this going, because it perpetuates our Chicago cycling community, which is very important. I would just say we're all cyclists together, and it's like if you're in a big group going fast, and there's a few, amateur cyclists off, so we got to give them space.
Yeah,
it's like they're cyclists too, and
right.
We're all in it together.
I like it. So we're all in it together, guys. We've covered a lot today. We get to learn a lot of things about Mark. As you said, I still can't believe we had all this information about you that I had no clue about. I had none of this. Okay, so happy to Dave Lapinski who introduced me. Happy that you have actually come to the Quartada rides before and then show me how to sprint, which is amazing. I learned about your family background, your grandpa. I'm looking forward to be a grandpa one day. I can't wait. But I'm in Norwich. My kids are still very young. But I want to be a grandpa. Okay, that would be pretty awesome. Any plans for 2025?
Let's take it as, I made plans before, like, this is going to be a big year, and it's been a terrible year. And some years I'm like, I'll see what happens. And those have been good years. So just whatever.
Take it in strides.
Yeah. And just to bring everything full circle, you and I were talking earlier, I met Evo. Is that how you pronounce his name?
Evo.
I met him Saturday, and then you were just talking about it.
Yeah, that's like somebody that we.
That's Dragon Bike?
Dragon Spine.
Dragon Spine?
Yeah, okay. Montrose and Milwaukee. Yeah. I'm gonna send him a message, and he's like, I talk to this guy a lot. So
sure.
We go way back from back in the days. Yeah. So he's a good guy of his bike.
Yeah, and him and I just met on the bike trail. It's like, we should all talk together and communicate, and we're all in it together.
Exactly. And also for him, so the most beautiful thing about you is that you own a bike shop and you're a cyclist.
Yeah.
Okay, so this guy was doing 16 to 20,000 miles a year a couple years ago.
Oh, wow.
Before he had a bike shop. That was his thing. And I think he still have a record on Zwift. He's the first person to do up the Zwift like 15 or 10 times in one shot. He's the first person to ever do it. He still have that record to this day.
To do what?
Alp the Zwift. So the Alp, you can climb the Alp back and forth, and he climbed the Alp maybe like 10 times or so.
Wow.
He's the first person to do that in the history of Alp the Zwifting. He still have the trophy to be the first person.
I'm going to stop by and see that guy. I like him.
Yeah, Evo is a lot of these things, my bike parts and stuff, and he buys me stuff, and he order me things, and I help him whenever I can. Yeah, he's doing his thing.
Yeah.
So happy to see that he's finally started a bike shop and doing. But again, if you never stop and talk to these people, you'll never know.
Right.
You see people on the road going back and forth.
Yeah.
You see Jerry. You see all these different people. You just never know. Someone talk to them. You're like, man. Not also that. A lot of people have careers that you can use to help you also.
Yeah.
Right. What are you looking for? A realtor? Because I have friends who are realtors, lawyers, doctors, scientists, whatever.
Yeah. Right.
And you never know.
Yeah. Our group is full of everything.
Exactly. So when you talk to people like this, you're like, oh, no, I know. So, but no, you're retired, you're enjoying yourself. So keep on doing that.
Yeah.
Don't come with a retirement. If you can do what you're doing, man. Yeah. I want to go to Arizona one of these days. Every time I see these guys go to Arizona, and I'm like, one day. But again, I got younger kids. My youngest is 6. My wife works. I can't leave my family for a long time. But it's good to see that, we have everybody in the network. And this is what Chicago is about. Guys, Mark Winston, he's here. You guys met him. We talk about it. And if you see him on the road, guys, please don't be shy.
Yeah.
PACT. You're going to see him and you'll know him. So you've done everything before. Wednesday night ride. Talk about Mafia Ride. I never heard about pizza. Judson, he's seen it all. He's been there for a long time. So let's try to be like Mark and just explore and do some epic things. Life is about us doing epic things, right?
Yeah.
And inspire. You might not do it intentionally, but trust me, people are watching.
Yeah.
And remember, it's never who you know, it's who know you.
Okay.
And then people.
Well, I'm always watching too and learning. So.
Yeah, that's the cycle of life. So guys, Mark, thanks again for coming out, sharing with us.
Yeah.
We have Mark in the network, guys. Please don't be shy. And as I always say, guys, as I close out, let's keep the miles and smiles going until we meet again. One love.